morning and welcome to this morning service. I think I need to make sure that well, let's see if this will work. You know, I'm learning things all the time, and I apologize uh, for my lack of knowledge. Again, good morning. Welcome to this morning service. It is a time for all of us to be continue to be mindful. There are changes that are taking place around us. We have changes in the kinds of protocols that we need to observe. Um, but I think we'll continue to have these um, uh, Zoom and YouTube services at least for a while longer, a little while longer. It will be good to be able to see all of you here back in the Hondo. And I hope when we are able to do that, that we'll be able to enjoy the presence of each of you here in our Hondo. We'll begin this morning's service with the reading of Sambujo. Sambujo, as you know, is begins a service welcoming the Buddhas, Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, Buddhas of the 10 directions. Amida Buddha, of course, is central to Jodo Shinshu. It's Amida Buddha's assurance that all of us will be able to become Buddhas ourselves. And this is the direction that Buddhism tries to move us toward, to become enlightened beings, to become Buddhas ourselves. And Amida Buddha assures all of us of that. Shakyamuni Buddha, the second of the Sambujo, the second line, Shakyamuni Buddha was a historical Buddha who lived in India 2,500 years ago, out of whose experience of enlightenment the many traditions of Buddhism flow. Last week we were talking in our Sangha Padma class. Shortly after Shakyamuni Buddha died, his students got together to share what they remembered of Shakyamuni Buddha and what he talked about. And that was the first council right after his death. And so they shared what they remembered, and then they passed down to their students, and they carried to different parts of Asia the message of Shakyamuni Buddha, what he had shared with them. And for 400 years, the teachings of the Buddha were shared from one teacher to a student to another. That's a long time. And his message continued to help individuals, people, communities discover the importance of what we share with one another as human beings, to be able to see each other as we are. So Shakyamuni Buddha's, what he experienced, what he shared, is the second of this Sambujo. And the third line of the Sambujo is the Buddhas of the 10 directions. So Buddhas everywhere. And I always kind of talk about on this last line the most, because Buddhas everywhere is really, to me, fascinating. It is Buddhas, that means Buddhas are everywhere, regardless of where we are. There is a Buddha. Every moment in time, every point in space, there is a Buddha. Buddhas are everywhere. And whether you think of them as beings that are here, 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 or if you simply think of it as enlightenment, nirvana, that Buddhas are everywhere is important to think about. And that's the Sambujo. That's what we start our service with, welcoming the Buddhas to be present. Again, Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, Buddhas of the 10 directions. Then following the Sambujo, I'll continue. If you please join in the reading of Junirai. Junirai. It is a gata that was composed by one of the 7 patriarchs, Nagarjuna, expressing, praising the virtues of Amida Buddha. Okay, we'll begin this morning service again starting with the Sambujo, followed by the reading of Junirai. Namanda, 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 namanda. 비슈텐인 쇼크겸 아미나센 요송선 사이히미 메어한나코 무녀무시슈이네엄 본징이신 조녀센놈 샤마타교녀소범 료모 그조냐 그쇼랭님 공아초라이미다손 멘세엔 조녀망하스 이코윤요센니징하스 조녀탱크그시람 공아초라이미다손 간논 초나이 간지어즘 저주며 소호쇼곤 너무 긍에 도마껴만 공아초라이미나손 무미멍응오쇼좀 슈통케어케즈뇨코금 쇼사리야 그동지사이 공아초라이미나손 기뽀묘 몸보사심 머녀쇼마조산단 이쇼슈종한 니기지엄 공아초라이미다손 혼타이호켄치쇼케 쟁온쇼조면나이삼 오히사조뇨센놈 공아초라이미나손 지뽀쇼라이쇼무심 갱겐진스시안하 생모성엔조긍염 공아초라이미나손 쇼음조문아토 야그녀스잉아즈넨 요롬 이슈세포무묘집 공아초라이미다손 이솜부세즈무아금요 야금은요니아그노금 슈닌시신교희손 공아초라이미나손 이솜문요호맹교 무쇼슈아그지시김 오조흐타이시보나이 공아초라이미나손 마세즈이손 그너그짐 슈셈흐엔 요카이스임 쇼냐그생온 쇼 sham ese shu jo sho o hi Namanna, 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 namanna. Will you please join now in the reading of Golden Chain. Hikasho. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Again, good morning, everyone. It's been really challenging. I know for many of our students who continue to be going to school online. We hear so many stories of how challenging it can be and how frustrating it can be. We're not able to see our friends, or we're not able to have these kinds of conversations with informal conversations. We only meet and hear our teacher, or have to pay attention looking at a small screen. Even the meetings that I attend, they're not every day, but certainly the meetings that I attend are all done through Zoom. All of the things that we do in the office, at the temple office, is all through Zoom or through emails, or we're not able to, because of the pandemic, because of the virus, we're unable to communicate directly with one another. So the way that things are organized is very different from how things were organized before we had to shelter in place. For some people, this is not a challenge, and they seem quite at ease. For me, it's very difficult to keep all of these things in mind, these different groups that I belong to, or committees or meetings that when we attend, to try and keep all of these things going at the same time uh, is really challenging for me. And I was mentioning this to Kathy, and so she said, "Okay, so you're not able to remember things," and so she gave me a notebook. She said, "You have to take notes." I said, "Well," so she said, "You want sympathy? Okay, so that's okay too. But in order to keep track of all of these things, rather than simply say, 'Oh, gee, that's too bad. You can't remember things,'" she gave me a notebook. So, okay, you have to take down notes now to keep track of the things that are important. And whatever, I have to kind of figure out how to best use this. I was trying to take notes um, in different, whether it's in a word processor or a note keeping note. Now I have paper that I'll start taking notes on and keep it in a notebook where I can get to easily. It's really frustrating. Uh, but sometimes it's good to be able to talk about how how you're feeling. Uh, Sometimes we don't want to share because we think that something might be wrong with us, so we don't want to talk about how we might be feeling and just acting out. But I think if we're able to share, what's frustrating us with what we're concerned about, the people around us will respond and will say, "Okay, well, let's see what we can do." That we're not by ourselves or in our own kind of world looking through uh, a television, a monitor. I'm saying television screen. That just kind of dates me, but looking at a monitor, a computer monitor, or an iPad, or trying to connect with the world just through this small piece of glass. There are people around us that uh, can support us, can help us. We just need to be able to uh, open ourselves to the help that's around us, uh, to be able to uh, acknowledge, to recognize that, yeah, maybe things are not going as well as I thought that they might be going. That there are things that I'm getting frustrated about. There are things that I'm angry about uh, that are causing me to interact with other people in a way that may not be the best way. I may be speaking out of anger rather than simply expressing what I feel or what I think. Um, and when we're able to do that, there are people around us who together, they're also in the same situation that we're in. Uh, but they too may have things that they would like to share. And in sharing those thoughts and those feelings, to bring it out, they seem maybe less overwhelming, uh, less powerful in our lives. Um, the life that surrounds us, right? We always talk about infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. The life that surrounds us uh, kind of carries us, nurtures us, and we're grateful for that. I hope all of you are as well as can be, um, under these most extraordinary circumstances. There are changes that are taking place that hopefully will be able to improve our lives, be able to open up our the way that we uh, communicate with one another, open up to be able to share in person those things that bring us joy, those things that frustrate and anger us, or those things that we would like to share with others. that hopefully we will be able to do that soon. Thank you. Please, everybody, follow protocol. Be safe. Hope you're all doing well. Will you please join in closing yasho? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, everyone. Go to class. See you next week.